What's up guys, Nuance Bro checking in, and today we're going to be talking about a story that I've seen recently spread around the internet where it's talking about the 2020 census and how specifically California is set to gain 11 seats after the 2020 census. Now, if you don't already know, the census is something that happens every 10 years. It's mandated by the Constitution and it's for the purposes of apportionment. So we have people in Congress, there's 435 members, and we kind of want to disperse that over the population equally. That's according to the Constitution. That's what they mandate. So the census is something that's pretty important. And the 2020 census is coming up, so the electoral map is going to change. Now, this story that I've been seeing specifically, like I said in the intro, is that California is set to gain 11 seats. And I've seen major internet commentators and journalists talk about this, like Ryan Saavedra, for example, who tweeted his article from the Daily Wire where he said, "The presence of all immigrants and their US-born minor children will redistribute 26 seats in the House in 2020. Of the 26 seats that will be lost, 24 are from states that voted for Trump in 2016. Democratic-controlled California is gaining 11 seats." But I think most notable of all was this video from Tim Pool, where the title says, "Republicans may never win the House again due to immigration. California set to gain 11, in caps, seats." So let's take a look at this video and see what he's talking about.
According to a new report from the Center for Immigration Studies, Republicans are going to lose 24 House seats, and solidly blue states are going to gain 19 House seats, and in turn, electoral college votes, due to legal and illegal immigration. If this trend continues, many people speculate Republicans will never win the House of Representatives again. It also means that blue states are going to gain a disproportionate amount of power in choosing the president. The real issue is the way we draw congressional districts and give out electoral college votes. It doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not. So states like California are set to gain 11 House seats, and they have a large population of illegal immigrants. This will give them more power in federal elections. They go on to say that Ohio will have three fewer seats in 2020 than it otherwise would have had, but for the presence of all immigrants and their minor children in other states. Michigan and Pennsylvania will have 2 fewer. They then go on to list a series of states that are losing 1 seat. I'm not going to read every state for you, but here's where it's important. California will have 11 more seats in 2020 than it otherwise would have. New York and Texas will have 4 more seats each. Florida will have 3 more seats. New Jersey will have 2 more. And Illinois and Massachusetts will each have 1 additional seat. I want to stop here and I want to mention something about California. They recently passed legislation saying that they'll give health care to non-citizens under the age of 26. We saw something similar with the Democratic presidential candidates saying that they were going to give health care to non-citizens. California has a lot of problems. It essentially operates like an oligarchy. In San Francisco, you have these figurative ivory towers where billionaires run massive tech companies. Meanwhile, homelessness is rampant, drug abuse is rampant, human waste litters the streets. And now California is going to get 11 more seats in 2020.
So you can see he's reading an article from the Center for Immigration Studies, and he's reading it, but it seems like he's not really fully understanding it, and the way he's reporting it is just totally irresponsible. He is saying that California is set to gain 11 seats, meaning that in 2010 they had a certain number, and now they're going to gain 11 more seats in 2020. Now, for those of you who are panicking, I've got some good news, because that's not going to happen. In fact, I'm going to make an announcement, and you heard it here first. I'm going to take a page out of Mitt Romney's book, actually, here.
10,000 bucks? $10,000 bet?
And I'm going to make a $10,000 bet with Tim Pool, and I'm going to say that California is not going to gain 11 more seats in 2020 compared to what it has currently. So let me show you where Tim went wrong. So this is the exact same article that Tim was showing in his video. The impact of legal and illegal immigration on the apportionment of seats in the US House of Representatives in 2020. And if we scroll down, we can see it says this right here. The 2020 census will show that the presence of all immigrants, naturalized citizens, legal residents, and illegal aliens, and their US-born minor children is responsible for a shift of 26 House seats. And this is the important part, so pay attention. This is the cumulative impact of immigration, not the change from the previous census. Did you guys get that? It's cumulative. It's not the change from the previous census. This means this has been happening over time. That's the case right now, even. There are seats that are redistributed that otherwise wouldn't be because of illegal immigration over the years. This isn't a change that's happening in 2020 since 2010. And it's obvious that Tim didn't get this. Even though he read the language that said this is cumulative, he didn't understand it because otherwise he wouldn't use the language of California is set to gain 11 more seats in 2020 because they're not. Now, here's the issue I really have, because this wasn't exactly hard information to find out. All Tim had to do was read his own study and understand it properly. In fact, all he had to do was just scroll down a little bit more to the bottom of the page where it has this. Table 1, apportionment of House seats after 2020 census, assuming different populations were not present. And as we can see here, it has projected seats for 2020. So these are the projected seats that are going to be there for 2020. And we can see here, a few lines down, California, projected seats, 52. Now, all we have to do is look at the current map based on the 2010 census for how many seats California currently has. Now, would you look at that? California actually has 53 House seats currently. So this projection for 2020 actually shows California losing a seat. Well, isn't that incredible? Losing 1 seat versus gaining 11 seats. Now, of course, these are projections, and it's actually debated whether California will stay the same or actually lose 1 seat. Almost nobody thinks they're even going to gain 1 seat. But 11 seats they're going to gain, they're set to gain in 2020. I'd like that $10,000 bet, Tim. But here, let's do it like this, because they also talked about how they're going to be states redistributed from Trump to the Democrats, and this is going to be horrible for elections going forward and stuff like that. So we're going to do something simple. We're going to have 2 maps up, and we're going to have the map that's currently the map based on the 2010 census, and we're going to have the map that is for 2020. So we're going to put those up. And you can see the map that is the current map is the one that has the blue and yellow. And you can see the map that is going to be the projected 2020 census results. That is the one with the blue and the red and the sort of purplish color. So you can see the 2010 map that California currently has 53. And in the projected map, it either has 53 or 52. You look at Texas, which was a red state. It voted for Trump, and it's set to gain 3 seats. You look at Florida, set to gain 2 seats. You look at a solidly blue state like New York, they're set to lose 2 seats. Another state that voted for Trump, North Carolina, set to gain 1 seat. Montana, solid red, set to gain 1 seat. Now, of course, there are some like Oregon set to gain 1 seat, et cetera, et cetera. I did the math out of all the projections and everything, and it actually goes +6 to Trump. Compared to the 2016 results, if you take the 2016 results and you put the projected 2020 census, reapportionment numbers in there, Trump actually gets an extra 6 seats this way. So the impression most people got who watched Tim's video or they, read Ryan Saavedra's article, they got the impression that California was going to gain 11 seats and that all these seats were going to go over to the Democrats because of the reapportionment from the 2020 census. And that's just not true at all. Now, this isn't to say that the phenomena of immigration in general isn't going to generally help Democrats in the future. That's a separate issue. We're strictly talking about the numbers that are going to change as far as apportionment. And Tim and Ryan Saavedra totally misrepresented that. Even the conservative website Redstatecom noticed this as well and said, no, California is not gaining 11 House seats in 2020. And they basically say the exact same things I've laid out in this video. So I just want to play one more clip from Tim's video, so let's take a look.
18% of people who, in Los Angeles County moved there. They're homeless and they moved there. You know what that means? They get counted in the census too. And California will get more electoral power. They will get more power in the House of Representatives due to attracting homeless people. And I have no disrespect for homeless people. I actually fought and worked with nonprofits to help them. And so this is more of a dig at California's refusal to adequately help the homeless. I think it's because they know the more homeless people they bring in, the more immigrants and illegal immigrants they bring in, the more power they will have federally. But take a look at what California is. and then take a look at them gaining 11 electoral college votes and 11 House seats, that to me is worrying.
So he mentions the California gaining 11 more seats thing again, which we've already debunked in this video. But then he goes into this conspiracy theory that he thinks California is trying to import homeless people in order to increase their population numbers for the purposes of apportionment. What? First of all, there's no evidence for this. But second, if you're trying to boost your population numbers for the purposes of apportionment, homeless people are probably going to drive people away 3-1 at the rate they're coming in. So barely any of them are coming in the first place, you know, compared to like how many people it takes to increase your numbers in the census anyway. But people are leaving California already because of things like homelessness, drugs, crime, taxes, whatever. So increasing the homeless population isn't going to help you really increase your population numbers if more people are leaving the state as a result. So I know it looks like I'm coming down hard on Tim here, and I am, but as a journalist, he brags about how he had his experience at Vice and he's like a legit journalist. And if you're going to do that, you're going to have to issue retractions for stories that you get completely wrong from time to time, Tim. And I just don't see him do that very often, even though I see him screw up on a lot of stories. And, you know, he does a lot of work. He's a one-man show, kind of, when he's putting out all these videos constantly. I mean, he's putting out multiple videos a day. I can barely get out one video a week, so I understand. But do good by your audience, retract the story, have some journalistic integrity, and say, look, I got this wrong. This is what I got wrong, and here's the correct information. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Social media links are in the description box below, as well as merch. Support us at nuancebro.com/join, and I'll see you later, bro.